had a website, but it was almost like a vanity project back then. Now it is like an entrance fee to have a business.
Good. Hey, I wanted to let you know that the Google guarantee, the Google ads, man, I'm getting 12 to 16 calls a week.
My goal is at least do 10 to 15 more years, grow it up, sell it for 40, 50 million, maybe more.
It is December 23rd, 2022, and my guest is Shaun Temple of Gresham, Oregon. Shaun is the founder and CEO of Legendary Painting, one of the top painting companies in the Pacific Northwest. He is also a moderator of the Painting Contractors Facebook group, one of the largest home service pro Facebook pages in the world with more than 150,000 members. Shaun Temple, we're thrilled to have you. Welcome to the show.
What's up? Glad to be here. Man, the trades are important, and being visible and having the ability to get out and get to the young guys coming up, and even with companies who are coming up is really huge, man. So I'm just excited to try to be my best self for the trades, man. That's all.
Great. Well, to kick things off, could you tell us what your company is, how you got started? Give us the Legendary Painting origin story.
The origin story we could do a few podcasts about it, but the long short is my slogan used to be from the womb to paint your room. Now it's from birth to paint the earth. It's a little more mouth friendly. But yeah, so my dad was a painter. My mom and dad met in Florida in the 80s. My dad was a contractor at the time. He left home at 14, started painting in Monterey Bay, California. Bounced all four corners. We're talking from Monterey to Clearwater to Utica, and then to Oregon, ultimately where we settled 30 years ago in 1990. Half Italian, half German. I'm a loudmouth. And painting was just something I didn't have a choice to do. So my dad, he was a grinder. I will say that. He worked hard. He worked long hours. Me and him didn't have a great relationship, but I will say this, regardless of his own ambitions, he was a hard worker. You know what I mean? That's the one thing I'll never take from the man. But it was ingrained in me, dragging 5-gallon buckets before I was able. I mean, I'm a big dude, 6'8", 270, but, as a little kid, like, oh, hey, go get the 5-gallon bucket. And so, yeah, I came up in painting. My dad, my whole life, we made it through the 2007 recession. He was Picasso painting. My older brother, Kevin, owns To The T painting. And here I am on Legendary. I'll tell you, I love the business and the people and the customer service aspect way more than the application, because I was the tall guy who always got put on gutters. So
what is Christmas like? The whole family's in painting.
So, man, I don't do holidays. I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses, but yeah, man, I'll tell you, holidays are a funny thing for me because, like, I enjoy people's energy. They have such a great time in life, and it's like we're having a blizzard here right now, and people are just out sliding around on black ice because they want to get them gifts. But no, we chill at my house. We try to make it a point to not make any day special and just make everyone what it needs to be. That's what you're supposed to do, man. Whatever you're doing, if it's Hanukkah, if it's Christmas, whatever, even if you do or don't, get out there, man, and enjoy what you have, because tomorrow's not promised and today's all you have. So
that's right. So you said it's a little slower in the winter. How is business? Tell me about it.
So we just basically wrapped up our season. So now we're in basically vacay time. This is and it's only because I am a little stubborn about, I want to figure out things for myself before I put money into. So I put money into marketing and stuff before, and we launched at such a awkward place. So I had basically almost decided to close the company. I had my license, I had everything. Oh, wow. I mean, I went through 2 back surgeries that basically debilitated me. I was a sole proprietor at the time, and I just didn't know how it was going to move forward. And so my wife, the amazing woman she is, says, I got a friend who's got a husband who's been painting for 20 years. And I said, well, if he's been painting for 20 years, we should get together. And so we procrastinated for a while, but finally in March, we get together, big exterior, hardy, duration. I get my brother, Wayne, and then one of his guys up here for about 4 days, and they blast out this, 2,200 square foot, just walls for days, 40 feet wall, just big walls, and they blast it out, and I decided, I'm going to take a shot with this guy, and we relaunched. So we did roughly From March to now, we did roughly about 100 grand. I dumped most of that back into my partner, into new LLCs. I believe in culture. So here's my thing. I don't believe that employees are the future of the trades. I believe owners and more contractors are, right? Like, just like me, right? Like, you're not going to save the trades by making more, $15, $16 an hour helpers. You're going to save the trades by creating loyalty and culture. So that's what I'm trying to do in the trades really right now.
Got it. So how many employees do you have working for you then?
So we're relaunching basically. So we put all this together. We were like, okay, let's see what happens. 9 months, we ran strong. It went well. I was able to completely step out of the application process. I don't paint anymore. So us painters, we kind of have this ego, right? And so I'm like, I don't want to paint. I had to paint all the time, right? So Wayne's like, I love to paint. I said, well, I don't, bro.
I was gonna say, do you miss it at all, Shaun?
So I'll tell you, as I age out, it's not about missing it, I guess, but so my older brother, he's a beast. Like, if they have a rodeo for painting, I put him against anybody on a 40-foot wall with a spray gun.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what I mean? But he's a beast, man. And so I was always the middle boy, and so I don't miss it as far as like, I don't go on a job site and need to pick up a spray gun to make myself feel like an owner, if that makes sense. Like, I never needed that to fulfill me as a paint contractor. What I needed to fulfill me was knowing that the difference that I impacted people.
Have you started thinking about jobs for 2023?
We're geared up. So my biggest weakness, and I'll just get this out of the way because it's something, is the fact that I always want to give the best to my crew, like the best safety, the best ladder set offs, the best everything. So I'm always putting money back in. I actually haven't collected a check from my company this whole 9 months, as I put it all back into my partner, Wayne.
So the 100,000, all of it's been driven back to the business.
All of it's been driven back to the business, where we're pretty tight right now coming into 2023, but I don't stress that. That's, every company should feel tight at some point. You got to feel the stress of this world. It's not easy. And so we are going in, we don't have anything crazy on the books, but that's also because I don't know this world, this internet world like everybody. My dad was a baby boomer, which that generation of contractors was really hard on the population. So now we got to bring it back. And so, man, I want to go into it fresh because Darren Hardy talks about in the compound effect. He gives you 3 examples, right? He says, you got 3 dudes. One dude cuts 200 calories a day, starts walking 1,000 steps, right? One dude starts drinking beers every night, stops exercising, and one dude starts going out every weekend, and you see their lives progress, and at the end of it, 2 of them have fallen apart. Well, the third guy looks like an overnight success, but this is 36 months later. And so I'm trying to make the little steps to make a big difference long term. I'm talking drone painting in the future is what I'm thinking about. So
I was going to ask you about 5-10 years in advance. Do you have a vision for Legendary?
I envision Legendary being a company where people are like, if I go to Legendary, I can become my own boss. That is what I'm driving. So in Oregon, we have the hardest, most stringent licensing requirements in the country. Anybody wants to check the facts, you can. We absolutely do. Yeah. So I can't, I have to have a contract for anything over $2,000. I have to provide a lien notice, a Consumer Protection Act. You have to be lead certified before 1978, which is national. But yes, we have very stringent requirements. If you are not licensed in the state of Oregon, you cannot scrape paint off of a house. So that's the simplest part of it. And so my whole goal is to try to create more owners. We have great owners. We have the Nick Slavics, we have the Tanner Mullins, we have, you know what I mean? We have all these great painting, the Jason Paris's, we've got all these great people, and creating culture is going to be our future, not employees, because at the end of the day, Taco Bell is paying almost $20 an hour at some places. So we have to be way more creative with what we do. We have to say, hey, I don't care as much about the profits, because money, it's a business, right? You don't do it unless there's money involved. But at the end of the day, if you give less money to yourself and more money to your people, yes, you may not be able to have your Ferrari, but they get to all have their freaking Toyota Tacomas and their, you know what I mean? It's like,
Oh,
I
sure.
just find a bigger dream in it because I seen so much toxicity from like, 96 to 07 in the industry that I wanted I stepped away from the trades. I went and did hotels and I just got over it. I was like, I'm not a toxic person. I want to make better. And so in 10 years, I see me being one of the first companies that's painted walls with drones. I've already developed the mechanism on paper. I've already figured the system out, and nothing has to change, right? Like all I need is the drone to carry what we already have. That's the crazy part, right? Like it's not new thinking. I need, I'm working on a tarping system that we can actually distribute out to painters so they can paint 365. I don't see myself as anything more than somebody's buddy that really helped them in the industry and grow, and I just want to make a change for people, man. I don't care where I end up. All I want, I got 4 kids, 3 girls. I want to put them on a ranch so they can focus on horses and hay and riding snowmobile, whatever, quads. I'm a
Awesome.
dad of girls, so that's what I need to put them on a farm. I don't care what I do. I just want to help the trades. I want to help people.
Shaun, you said you're not up on marketing. You said, tech is not necessarily your strong suit. But
Well,
here you are in charge of this big Facebook group. You got a website.
not in charge. No. Let's reword. So I'm a moderator. We got a bunch of Tanner's the OG of painting. He started it. But Tanner. So I go back. So when Tanner started the group,
Yep.
I'm in the group. Here's the thing. So that group is so big and so expansive when it comes to the trades.
150,000 people. Unbelievable.
It doesn't even come close. I mean, I couldn't even. I almost think all the big names in the industry are moderators in that group. But no, I don't do anything special, man. You know what I try to do? I'm going to be honest. I hate trolls. I'm a big.
Can't stand them. Yeah.
Can't stand them. And so one big thing, I look in these groups and these guys are like, why aren't you doing this right? And I'm like, do you realize that's the reason that we have turned people off to our industry? You don't go to Taco Bell and shake them down and say, hey, or McDonald's say, hey, can I get that Big Mac for 40 cents cheaper? But you can guarantee that somebody's going to do that to a contractor. And what we do is skilled. We are skilled trades, and people don't look at it the same. Like the painter, we're the last guy at the road. The drywaller got a bigger paycheck than us, and we make their work look good. It's like,
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, man. And so I don't like trolls. I don't like negative people in this industry. My dad was a baby boomer, and the baby boomers, they liked shiny things. They liked talking big. They liked acting like there was nothing that could stop them. And I love baby boomers because of the reason I'm here. My dad was a baby boomer. My grandfather was in Pearl Harbor. I have pictures of him at the Black Cat Bar in Honolulu. He was a Navy medic. And, it was a tough generation, but that wasn't what appealed to me because I'm a tough dude, but I'm a big thinker, and we have a lot of big thinkers in this world. And so if you think that you're going to get my wife, she's probably can cut lines better than a lot of these dudes who are just starting out because of her attention to detail. That's the future of the trades. It's the ladies for sure. 100%. Let's go, ladies. Woo!
Tell me about your website. You said you've had it for 3 years.
3 years with you guys.
Every day I come across these painters on Google. They don't have websites. Walk me through your decision to get one and the sort of role it's played for you.
Yeah. So we'll go back. We'll go vintage. Like I said, we'll go vintage. We'll say 90, 96, 93, whatever. Phone books,
Okay.
Right? They come around every season. We get a new phone book, right? Cool. Painters, contractors, figure out your section, right? Okay, perfect. Do you have a website? No? Okay. How do I find you? Go get your phone book. Oh, you don't have one because they're obsolete. Oh, okay. So how are you meeting people? You're handing your cards out at the paint store? Well, you're there every day because you have to be present every day to be visible. And so when I went to think about a website, I looked around. Actually, my first website, I built myself. I don't know nothing about websites, but I hopped on, I bought a domain, I built it up. It was pretty shoddy. And then I'm sitting there watching Ask a Painter Live, and I see this handsome man, Nick. So he hops on there, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. And he's talking about, like how simple it is and the connection from your website to your phone, because I'm a gorilla. Like I barely got this laptop going this morning, but I can operate a phone. And so I'm sitting there like, man, how big would that be for my people to be able to hit me just like a phone book, right? So you're like, oh, I found my contractor. Now I call them. Well, there's a landing page for them to enter their information. And then I get a thing that says, Topline Pro has a lead for you straight from your website. And I'm like, this is great. Very simple. very sleek. And I think my biggest draw to you guys was the mom and pops feel. So right now we see where we're sitting, right? Like we see what we're doing in this world, and that's what matters, because I honestly have a pretty big disdain for corporate America, and it's nothing I believe it needs to happen, but
Sure.
here's the thing, right? Like, I know that we don't survive unless on the lowest of levels we treat each other with so much respect and loyalty. And so I believe in the smaller companies. If you have 150,000 people, you don't need my business. You know what I mean? If you have 1,000 members, you're the type of people I want to mess with, because you're new, you're fresh, you understand that the world is changing. And so when I decided to get a website, I looked at what Nick was doing. I seen it. I called him up. I seen him ask a painter live, because I watched Nick Slavic. He is one of the great minds in our industry. He's very visible. And to have him on the show, I was like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, Nick don't put anybody on his show. And so I looked into it. I did my research, and what you guys delivered immediately. I mean, at the, the basic package is $99 a month, whatever it was at the time, the basic package, my website in, I think it was 48 hours. I had a mock-up. On top of that, like I ended up, going with my logo, but you guys even shot me over. So like I said, hey, here's what I got. And the work you put in for that initial $99, I was just baffled with the fact that, well, these contractors, that's our biggest thing is, right, is like, who's real out there, right? Because you could see any person on Facebook that says they're going to do X, Y, and Z for you, but I'm sorry, $99, I can spend that on a date night with my wife. So I'm definitely willing to put that into a company, and especially a company who basically, that you guys were like, look, we're gonna, not only are we gonna deliver, we're gonna deliver in a big way. And you have over the last 3 years. I mean, I could pull up my text screen, but I probably had, 40 leads minimum come from my website. But I also, like, I don't optimize, I don't do anything else but just have the website existing, just like a newsprint ad. So I think when you look at, I mean, I'm not a tech guy, right? Like, whenever it's time for me to do something new, I get a hold of you guys, and I'm like, hey, what do we do here, huh? Tell me, Tony. So I've had a lot of conversation with website companies. I am very neutral, right? I don't pick sides in this world, because picking sides, it means that you can be bought. It's nothing personal, but I don't take sides. I take loyalty over blood. Like, blood makes you related, loyalty makes you family, right? And like, you guys have shown loyalty through and through. Like, I mean, the fact that, I get texts, hey, how you been? How's life? Like, that's what matters. Like, I don't care who you are. When you can look somebody in the eyes, everything else don't matter.
So what's your favorite feature? What do you wish we offered with the website that we don't now?
I think that you guys have a really great opportunity to simplify SEO.
Okay.
I think that's your probably your next big, and I think you simplify it by making it just explainable, because I go on and I'm like, what is an impression, right? Like, I think that's your guys' next big movement. And you guys have already showed, just by the simple things you do for my company, that the SEO is there, right? Like, I have made money from my website, way more than I've put into it. I've gotten probably at least 6x off of my website investment with you guys. And that's me doing nothing else but being visible.
6x, that's awesome. Wow.
So yeah, that's I don't like to give people, that's me being honest, that's about 6x.
Is there any advice you'd offer other painters, other home service pros thinking about getting a website? Why aren't they? What do they need to know before signing up?
They think they need a brand new sprayer before they need a website. That's the honest truth. I made the same mistake. I bought my really nice pump from my Sherwin rep, because that's what painters say you should do. But at the end of the day, we'll say you go spend $1,000 on a Graco 390, you get it for whatever your price is, right? Now think about, we'll talk about website. We'll say 90 my first year, $1,200. That's the retail on a 390, right? So that's going to produce you X amount of dollars, but you have to go out and find every single one of those customers instead of searching painters in Gresham. And guess what? Here we are.
You are right there, top of the
right
list.
there. Here we are. So my biggest thing for contractors who haven't got a website is, guess what? Nobody is finding you. Those leads that you have gotten are from the work that you put on your feet. Your website alone will create a presence that you do nothing more. I wake up every day and my website is there no matter what I do. And so if you think that the most important thing is having the best truck, the best tools. The most important thing to make your company a business and not just a job that you own is being visible so that you can create volume, because I can't grow my volume unless I have other means, right? Like if I walk out right now, we have freezing rain right now. I could go down to Fred Meyer's, catch everybody in the line and hand out, we'll say 100 cards to be modest, right? I hand out 100 cards. No matter how great each one of those conversations was, we'll say a 45-second conversation, you times that's 4,500 seconds. You do the math on it, you know what I mean? 6,000 seconds, you know what I mean? It's like, anyway, the long short is a website gives you something that you don't have to do nothing more than have. Now you are in the phone book, Google, DuckDuckGo. There's no phone book anymore. Get in the phone book. The phone book is the internet. MySpace is gone and the future is coming. If you're not part of it, you're going to be left behind.
Shaun, it sounds to me like you're firing on all cylinders. I want to zoom out a bit. What's the biggest mistake you've made?
Oh man. The biggest mistake I have made is not hindering my own ambition. And that's a fact. You know, it's a humbling thing, right? Because I've failed a lot in life, but Legendary has almost failed more times than I can count. And that's what most, you see the shining on the outside, but the fact of the matter is I started 2 back surgeries, multiple contracts already under contract, materials purchased. Now I don't have anything I can do. Now I'm calling customers, hey, I apologize, like, right? Your own ambition can always be halted, so you have to make sure you stagger it. It's the small steps. I can think up something new every day. Elon Musk said that. He said, you guys have it confused about what I do with my time. He said, you think I'm all busy all day in meetings. He said, nah, I'm just sitting around creating stuff all day. I have a million ideas. And that's me. I'm a creator. I'm an inventor. I'm a game changer. I'm a supporter of keeping strong these trades, because Jordan Peterson said, he said, you got it twisted about the trades. These are the people who put up your power lines. These are the people who paint your houses, your plumbing. Guess what? Without us, you're not getting internet. The hard workers who are out in the cold, you're not getting power. And so trades go so far into what we need as a culture, and without saving them, I feel like we're in real trouble.
What are people saying about the economy? Have you seen a slowdown? Are you worried about 2023 in that respect? How do you overcome some of the
well, ashwagandha, ashwagandha, a little bit of ashwagandha. If you don't know what ashwagandha is,
ashwagandha, I don't know what that is.
Ashwagandha is an Ayurvedic herb. It dates back thousands of years. It's great for cortisol control. So cortisol is the stress hormone.
Okay.
We release, it's the fight or flight hormone. So when we have cortisol in our body, we're ready to rock, right? But it's also very stressful for the heart. And so here's perspective. People are like, why am I losing hair? Probably genetics, but a lot of it is stress, right? Because our stress has increased. So ashwagandha just helps you have a positive response to stress. It also helps with male and female hormones. L-theanine, an amino acid, helps reduce anxiety. So, a combination of that and the fact that there's nothing you can do to change what's going to happen in the world, but there's everything that you can do to change what's happening in your world. So I don't know that I'm not going to have the hardest year of my life, but I'm ready for it. I'll take it head on. Who cares, right? Like at the end of the day, if my kids are fed, like this morning I woke up, I just made pizza dough last night. I made them pizza at like 9 o'clock this morning, right before I hopped on with you guys, made some thin crust. New York style. I'm getting pretty good at it too, let me tell you.
New York style.
I've only been doing pizza about 5-6 weeks. Huh?
All the way in Oregon, we got New York style.
Hey, it's not the water, dude. It's not the water. It's the finesse, dude. Stay away from the mixer.
I can't imagine it's the water. I looked into
not
this.
The water.
Boston water is just as good, and we don't have the pizza.
Listen, man, you know what the trick to New York style is? The trick to New York style is not overcomplicated. It's sauce, it's dough, it's cheese, and it needs to fold and crunch a little bit. Keep it simple.
I may fly up to Oregon just for a slice.
Come hang out, bro. I do it right out of my garage, and I'm making it happen out of a homemade oven. Let me tell you. But no, 2023 is going to be the most interesting year we've seen on the planet in the last probably 40. And the reason I say that is because we're in a very heated world right now. We are in a very unsure world right now. I'm a Bible person, and I say that, whatever You know, I tell people all the time, I'm a Bible person because that's what I look to as the best way for me to understand who God was, right? Like, it's not from a man. No preacher's going to tell me. The Bible tells me what it is. And so the Bible even says that times are going to get so hard that we've never seen things like that before. So I encourage people to rely on your gut, trust your instincts. Don't be scared, because most people look at their goals in the future and they see a path, right? They're like, I am going to be a millionaire someday, right? But the problem is they don't see that the side turn is right there in front of them, and they're probably going to cut their feet on the glass and the rocks. Most people think that their goals are achievable taking the comfortable path, and it's not. It's just not the facts. There is comfort to come from every hard work you do. But if you are not ready for the hardships, you probably are not ready for what else is going to come. And guess what? Things are going up, materials are going up, life's going to get more expensive. But you know what we can do? We create culture, we create community.
You mind if we close with a rapid fire round? I want to ask you.
Yeah, let's do it. Rapid fire, Lucy. Watch. You're gonna see Dad uses his loud mouth to. Let's go.
What's the biggest misconception about the painting industry?
The biggest misconception about the painting industry is that you're special. These homeowners, they had 2007 to like 2011 where they painted their own houses. The materials are the same, so we can be special. But thinking that you're going to do something different than the next guy by just applying the same product, you're not going to get there.
What's the most excited you've ever been on the job?
The most excited I've ever been on a job is when a 5-gallon bucket of paint that spilt on a roof didn't stain because we used the best techniques in the world on a 110-degree day to get it off. Thanks to my dad, my brother. That's the most excited I've ever been, is to not see that roof with a big... I think it was green that we were doing at the time.
Oh my God.
Green spot.
What was your first ever job?
Job painting?
In life.
I would say my first ever job was hustling Pokemon cards, man. Like, if you wanted to really take it back to the science, it would be my first real job. I mean,
You were selling the cards or tricking
Oh
some
man,
kids
I
at
would,
school?
you know what I mean? I was a young kid. I'd hit that Toys R Us every Saturday. I got
Okay.
moms writing me checks at freaking 11 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mom's like, "Where'd you get a check?" And I was like, "Well, it's in your name, so you can cash it. I'll give you 10%." You know, it's like that was me. I was like, "Hey, it's business." You know.
When did you decide you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
I don't think I was a decision. I don't think I had a choice. I actually think I've been an entrepreneur since the day I walked, because every single thing I've ever looked at, I think about how you can monetize it.
You think it's inborn, or you think your family played a role in that?
I think that, so my mom and dad, they're very different creatures. They were divorced when I was young, but my dad was he was a hustler, he was a grinder, he worked hard, not the best financial habits. My mom was much more kinder, calmer, cool, collected, you know what I mean, and was able to manage things much more balanced. I think it's definitely, my entrepreneurship is definitely in my blood.
Any advice you'd offer to people thinking about whether to become a painter? What would you tell them?
I would tell them that it is going to be hard. It is going to be difficult, no matter if you're an employee or an owner. But if you're willing to put the work in, the satisfaction from somebody who sees your work, I mean, there's no greater joy when you're like, "Hey, look what we just did to your lead-based house. Now your daycare is safe and the kids won't get lead poisoning." And like, it's just different. It's just different, you know? And so it's going to be hard, but nothing in life that is good is easy.
Well, on that note, thank you so much, Shaun. We welcome you back anytime. This was great fun. So thank you.
Man, I appreciate
so
you
much,
guys.
Shaun.
Listen, guys, and I will say this as a close off. I've had the best 3 years of my life working with Topline Pro, because every single second along the way, I've been able to shoot a text message, get a response, and talk to my people. So if you don't have a website company, these are the ones. They're affordable. We're talking, for the best package they got, what, like $5 a day? Like your top, it's like
$5 a day. Gosh, let me do the math.
Is that right? 149? Yeah, 149, right?
Yeah, that's $5 a day.
$5 a day. Less than $5 a day if you want to really get into the
you could be $3 a day. That's right.
You could be $3 a day. That's right. And so
For
that's
$3 a day, you get a website, you get leads,
It's
you get
cheaper than your business.
professionalism.
And here's
you-
the thing, you guys do way more. Like you guys help, like, oh, you don't know how to make cards, we're gonna help, we'll teach you how to do that. Like you guys do education for us. Like even if I knew how to make my own cards, obviously, but you guys offered it, like in the being like, hey, we can help you navigate anything in business, even if it's not something we do, we want to make you a success. So that's why I've stuck with you guys. If you guys don't have a company, Topline Pros, where it's at, check them out.
On that note, thank you so much, Sean. Happy
Appreciate you.
holidays. We'll
Thanks
talk
for
to you in the
listening to
new
me.
year.
Say bye, Lou.
Bye.